Still indecisive about what journals to use this year? I'm here to help. Hi friends, my name is Tianhe and I've been journaling for the age of 5. I believe journaling has helped me grow so much over the years. I used to be super indecisive on what journal to choose until I found the journaling community online. Now I really enjoy the process and the excitement. That's why I'd like to share with you today my techo kaigi 2025. I'm going to walk you through all the journals I'm using this year. I list the pros and cons and what they're best used for so that you can make your choice. I'll start with the journals I use daily. The first one is my daily journal. This is a Hobonichi original avec with a cover named Travel Journal by the Japanese artist Yumi Kitagishi. The original size is an A6 size. It's a 1 day per page, and I've chosen the original avec, which is 2 books of 6 months each. This is kind of like my daily dump. I don't have any rules for it. I can draw, write, stick stuff, anything goes. It's just a place where every evening I can relax and drop down the highlights of the day, anything happy that I want to remember. Or if I have any reflection, I can ramble about them. Or when I don't feel like it, I can doodle something or just put on one sticker and that's it. So I give myself a lot of freedom in this journal because I just want this to be a safe place for me to wind down every day. The pros for this journal is first the quality. The paper quality is really high. It's smooth, it's durable, it supports fountain pen really well. You can draw on it, you can use wet media, you can stick a lot of stuff and the binding won't break. The cover quality is also really good. It's made of fabric. The print quality is really high. What I really appreciate about Hobonichi techos is that they lay flat. Another pro is the design. This is so cute. Every year, Hobonichi comes out with new designs. There are few cons. The main one, I think, is the price, especially if you don't live in Japan. You have to pay a lot of service fee and taxes and delivery fee. I think this journal is best if you want to journal a lot because it can take a lot. You can stick anything in it, it won't break. It's also very good if you use wet media like watercolor or gouache, and it's also best for fountain pen users. Look at this! Look at this fat baby! Ooh, so chunky! This is my first ever Hobonichi techo. I bought it in 2017 before leaving for a big trip around the world. And see how durable this is, super sturdy. The binding is really strong, and even if the paper is thin, it can hold so much. I love it. This is my treasure. My second daily journal is a mood tracker. This is the Midori Datebook Mini. The size is kind of like a B7 and it has a monthly view. They have different designs and I've chosen the dog one. So this is my mood diary. I use it to track the emotions I go through in a day. And I use these tiny stamps to track them. The pros of this notebook. First, it's tiny. See, it's smaller than my hand. So it's very easy to carry around. And because it's tiny, it's not at all intimidating, and it's very easy to fill up. It's made of Midori MD paper, so it's very high quality paper that can hold fountain pen. And so cute! I love the design. This artist used the multicolor pencil to draw the dogs, which gives the illustrations this dreamy effect. I love it. I love it! The only con I find is that I can't write anything in it. So I think this journal is best for tracking one specific habit. They have other designs. You can get one for each habit you want to track too. So those were the two journals I use on a daily basis. Now let's move on to the journals I use weekly. The first one is for memory keeping, and for this I use the Hobonichi Weeks with the design Night Cherry Blossom Snow Globe by the Japanese artist Hiroko Gubota. Like the Hobonichi Techo original, the quality of this paper is really high. It's smooth and durable. It resists fountain pen, wet media, drawing, sticking. It's really light and compact too, although you can see it's a little bit longer in size, but it's very pocket friendly. I used the Hobonichi Weeks 2 years ago for daily journaling and tracking, habit tracking. It was really satisfying to flip through. It is one of the journals that I love the most amongst all the journals I've used. I don't know why about the size. It's very easy to fill up, and once you fill this up, when you turn the pages, it feels full too. The con with this journal is, again, the price, but the other con with the Hobonichi Weeks in particular is the yellow pages. So their pages are creamy, but kind of yellow cream. So you must know that the Hobonichi Techo original has ivory white pages, and the Hobonichi Weeks has these creamy yellow pages. Just keep that in mind when you choose the journal. Because of the size of these pages, you can't really put a lot in it. So I think this is best for you if you want to journal just once a week or only on weekends and catch up on everything that has happened in the week. My next weekly used journal is a hobby journal. In my case, it's a performing arts journal. This is again a Hobonichi journal. What I put in it is a Hobonichi graph notebook in A5 size. So it has no dates and no pre-printed anything. It's just a grid notebook. The cover is called Letter, again by the artist Yumi Kitagishi. I use this as a performing arts journal because I sing and I act. I needed a space where I could write down my notes, and this cover really inspired me to do that. The pros of this journal is, first, it makes me want to take the notes. So I would record the singing lessons I take, and then I would listen to it again after the class so that I can take the notes that the professor gave. And for theater, I use it to take the notes right after we do a scene and whatever tips the professor would give during the class. If we're working on a small scene, I would also stick down the script. That way I always have the lines here with me and I can take notes directly on the script too. Sometimes I would also journal about something related to the art I'm performing. For example, if I need some motivation to make it a daily habit to sing, how I want to feel when I sing, and why I'm taking singing lessons, what it brings to my life. That way, when I need motivation, I can just go back here. It's inspiring for me to look at. During my acting lessons, when I have a new character that I have to prepare for, I would also draw down the costumes that I'm thinking of. So I feel like using a pen and a notebook for a hobby is more practical than taking notes on the phone because you can draw at the same time. You can make little doodles because sometimes some notions are easier to understand with a drawing rather than words. So I really love this journal. This is very new to me. I'm not used to track hobbies in a journal, but I'm really happy I did. And I'll let you know at the end of the year how it went. But the cons, I think it's a little big to carry around because the notebook is actually A5 size, but when you put the cover on it, it becomes a little bigger and chunkier. For the Hobonichi Techo original A6 size, it doesn't really bother me. It's still quite compact. But the A5 size can be a little bit chunky and heavy. The other con is for the notebook I chose to put inside this cover. This is a Hobonichi graph notebook and it has a lot of pages in it. I didn't really realize at first because the pages are so thin that it looks like a small notebook, but actually it takes forever to fill up. So this may be a con. I think this is best for taking notes on any hobby you have. Plus, in some cases, for example, if you're knitting or crocheting, maybe the grid can help you draw the patterns. Otherwise, it's really a very standard size notebook. So I think this is the best anything goes notebook. So we've covered daily journals and weekly journals. Now I'd like to share with you the journals that I use occasionally. The first one is my diary. The brand is Not For. I've been looking for a notebook with printed pages for ages. When I was a teenager, I used to go to China every summer and I would find loads of these kind of notebooks. And at some point, they just stopped making them because I think not enough people was using them. And since then, I've been looking for them because I really love the pre-printed pages for writing. So the main pro for this notebook is the pre-decorated pages. If I only want to write and I don't want to think about decorating, but I still want it to look pretty and inspiring to me, I will write in this notebook. I love the vibes. It just makes you want to write. It makes whatever you're writing more meaningful. It's like eating a meal in beautiful plates. It just makes the whole experience better. The main con I find with these random notebooks is that the paper is of lower quality. So this paper stands gel pens and ballpoint pens well, but not the water-based pens like fountain pens. And the paper is not that smooth. Though I know sometimes we like also the feedback of a textured paper. I think these kind of notebooks are best if you only want to write. If you don't want the fuss or you don't have the time to decorate all the pages, or on the days when you just don't feel like it. This is great. For whenever I'm traveling, I'm using the traveler's notebook. Passport size and regular size. I use the passport size for short trips, 2 to 5 days, and I use the regular size for trips that are more than a week. But in the past, I've used a passport size for a 2-week trip, and I loved it too. Okay, pros. High quality paper. The regular size is great for sticking any tickets and any postcards without cutting them. It can hold a lot of ephemera in it. The passport size is really easy to fill up, so I feel like the composition of one page is very easy to do because you don't have a lot of space to fill up, so you don't have to do a lot of complicated composition. On some pages, I just stick one photo. On other pages, I can just stick one ephemera and then write something next to it. And then I'm done. What I love about Traveler's Notebook is that you can use one insert for each trip. So it kind of makes it special. You decorate the cover of the insert before you go on the trip. And then when you finish it, it's kind of like having a book about this trip. I feel like the main con with the Traveler Notebook is again the price. Unless you don't really invest in the cover and accessories. You can just buy the inserts too. It's not always easy to find notebooks with fewer pages. That's why I think these are the best choice if you want to separate your journaling by theme or by trip or by duration. You can have one insert for each hobby that you have, or you can have one insert for each trip that you take this year. Last but not least, my junk journal. Almost by definition, you can take any notebook to make a junk journal. I actually love making my own junk journals. I feel like it gives that crafty, junky feel if you make your notebook yourself. For this one, I folded square cardboards that are sold as scrapbooking supplies, or you can staple it. This is my maybe 7th junk journal in 2 years. I love it because it gives me the most freedom. There's no thinking. You just stick stuff or draw anything or just put paint or just staple some packaging. It's very actually meditative and therapeutic for me. I call it my sticky therapy. I think the main con about junk journaling is that you tend to hoard the trash. You want to keep anything and everything. At some point, I realized I didn't really love everything that I was putting in the junk journal. So I was more mindful of what I was keeping. If I take packaging as an example, I would keep only the design that really inspire me or those that remind me of a memory, a happy one. I think junk journaling is best for you if you don't want to think too much, if you just want to let it go, and if you don't care about the results, you're just enjoying the process. And it's so easy to pick a notebook because you can just pick up anything and you can also make yours. So those were the 7 journals I chose for this year. I actually have some ongoing journals that takes me years and years to fill up. Let me know down below if you're interested in these ongoing journals that are, for example, journals about music, journals about series that I like. I have journals about all the washi tapes I have. I have a journal about my dog. You get the scene. If you have any questions about journaling, about self-care, please drop them below. I try my best to respond. Thank you so much and see you soon!